Let's start
Okay.
off with the running backs here, Coach. RJ Harvey did start over JK Dobbins. RJ Harvey, the fifth running back on the depth chart for the Broncos, was the starting running back, was with the first team for the initial first play, and really the first series in general. RJ Harvey got the first 4 plays. Dobbins came in for one, right, and then Harvey came back out there again right after. Harvey saw 12 snaps. He ran 5 routes. He got 2 targets. He had 7 carries overall. Dobbins, 7 snaps, 4 routes run, 1 target, 0 carries. Um, I think I think this is close to a 50-50 split to start, Coach. I think it'll be interesting to see how JK Dobbins continues. Does he have more juice? We did see him fade last season as the season progressed on. But, I think JK Dobbins, as long as he's healthy, he's going to have a role in this offense. And it would not surprise me if J.K. Dobbins is back there behind the quarterback, Bo Nix, for the first snap on offense week 1. But I think it is telling that, Harvey, was out there with the ones a good amount and was out there before Dobbins, and heavily involved in the offense. Like I said, 5 routes run, 2 targets, 7 carries. Am I looking too much into this? Or is this kind of what you had expected, close to a 50-50 split with Dobbins, maybe Dobbins being the guy? And then we'll talk about their ADPs and dig a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah, I kind of thought Dobbins would start, and Harvey would kind of be the change of pace guy initially, and that would work into a 50-50 split. And it looks like it's possibly the opposite. I don't think we take enough into account. I know you have, but I would just say myself, if Sean Payton goes after a guy, then he's going to play him. And that was the case with RJ Harvey, just like it was Bo Nix. If he identifies a guy that he thinks is good, then he's going to put him out there. Now, Dobbins has a role, he's going to share the thing in the backfield without a doubt. He's a dependable player, but RJ Harvey is the guy. If I'm going to own either of these backs in redraft, I want RJ Harvey.
Yeah, I would say the one thing too to note, 18% target share for RJ Harvey for a running back. That is right in line with what you want in fantasy football. 18% is a really, really nice target share. Again, it's early, but out of the touches, Harvey gets 8 opportunities. Dobbins gets just 1. Again, not going to look super, super hard into it, but let's look at the ADPs because RJ Harvey did drop. He was last week. He was RB24 in front of Aaron Jones. Now he's RB25 behind Aaron Jones. I think the depth chart thing, some local beat reporter chatter, maybe caused for some concern for RJ Harvey. And honestly, we talked about the other day, Coach. I hope some of my players that I really like, especially rookies, because they're the ones that get steamed up the most after preseason action. I almost hope that they do not do that well because they fall, and if they do well, they pop up and rise. I mean, Trevion Henderson's now RB23, and wouldn't be surprised if Trevion Henderson starts to go up even higher. But let's talk about RJ Harvey here because we talked about his ADP again to RB25, pick 66 off the board. He goes right in front of Isaiah Pacheco, right behind Aaron Jones and Trevion Henderson. I think it's a fine spot to take RJ Harvey. I think it's fair. I think Harvey is a upside play, and I think ultimately, Coach, I think second half of the year Harvey could be RB15 when he gets more ingratiated with that offense. I think he has that kind of upside. Maybe a little bit of a slower start, but at that ADP, Coach, he's again 66 RB25 behind Aaron Jones, in front of Pacheco. Do you like where he's going? Do you think he's overdrafted? Do you think he's underdrafted? Or do you think he's valued just about right where he should be going?
I think that's about right. It's interesting that Aaron Jones is around him because when I see RJ Harvey play, I see a younger Aaron Jones. Just to be honest,
I like that.
I comp those two guys very similar. I think it's a good spot. I can see RJ Harvey a little higher, especially after last night. His ADP is going to go up a little bit because there was a lot of concern around people that I was reading and have talked to about whether Dobbins or him. Like who's gonna be the guy? And last night's gonna make everybody think it's without a doubt Harvey, and his ADP will jump a little bit, not drastic, not like Travion Henderson drastic, because that could go way up.
Yeah, definitely can.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about Dobbins because I don't want to make it seem as though I am out on JK Dobbins either, coach, because I think
Mhm.
Dobbins is going to have a role in this offense. I really do. And I think you do as well.
Mhm.
Dobbins goes right now at pick 112, RB38 off the board. He goes one running back ahead of Najee Harris. He goes behind Ramondre Stevenson, behind Jordan Mason. Do you like that cost for JK Dobbins? Is he, I mean, maybe he's like your RB4, I would feel pretty comfortable with if he was my RB4. RB3, you're starting to kind of push it a little bit, but you don't need him to start necessarily. But I think I'd be okay with it too, depending on the guys I have in front of him. But is that an area in which you feel comfortable? And are you taking guys like Najee Harris, Zach Charbonnet, Rashad White, Ramondre Stevenson? Are you taking those guys over JK Dobbins?
I think Rashad White and J.K. Dobbins to me feel very similar. Um, it's interesting. I think every coach now in the NFL is hunting those two running backs, right? And they want them both to be a little bit different, similar to Gibbs and Montgomery style wise, somewhat. But as fantasy managers, we got to remember that um, Gibbs, Montgomery, that's just not real. That does not happen all the time. Like
Yeah.
where you have two guys that you can put out there starting running backs on your fantasy team and they're going to produce. Like it just doesn't happen all the time. Like Rashad White, for instance, I mean, he's useful, yeah, but his production is declining and you can't feel as good about him as you did 2 years ago. And I think Dobbins is just going to be a change of pace kind of guy. He's not going to score the points we had all kind of hoped if we had JK Dobbins.
Yeah. The last takeaway I wanted to look at in this running back room, coach, is Audric Estime. I put it out there a week or two ago. I think he is very, very likely a cut, in my opinion. Denver keeps a fullback, so Burton's likely going to be on this roster. That's you're either making a cut at tight end or you're making a cut at running back to fit him into your lineup because look, most teams don't have or account for a fullback on their roster. The Broncos will. Audric Estime didn't play his first snap until the second half, while Jaleel McLaughlin and Tyler Batty played most of the second quarter. I mean, he was the RB5 in pecking order. And I don't think this is an overreaction. I mean, Audric Estime, coach, last year, he was a healthy scratch in the playoffs, right, against the Bills for Tyler Bidet. I think that says a lot. Tyler Bidet was coming off of that injury. He missed a lot of time. And they would have rather have had Tyler Bidet out there over Audric Estime when that running back room was atrocious last year. It was absolutely atrocious. So we'll see. But Tyler Bidet looked like the best running back outside of Dobbins and Harvey last night. And Sean Payton seems to like Tyler Bidet. So I know that you're maybe not as in tune with these guys as maybe I am, so to speak. But that's my thoughts there. I think there's a good shot that Bidet is the third running back and Jaleel even goes to be the fourth. I think that's extremely possible. Do you have any thoughts on that? Audric Estime. I mean, is Audric Estime somebody you're rostering in Dynasty maybe? Do you have any shares of him there?
I do not, but I mean, I would be fine if somebody had him sitting way down there on the bench. But this time last year, we thought there was a lot of hope for Audric Estime, and now it seems to not be the case, like you're saying. Jaleel McLaughlin has flashed at times
Yeah.
in the past. That's a guy to me I would expect to make the team, and I think, like you're saying, Estime's probably cut.
Yeah. Jaleel, the good thing about Jaleel is he's a special teams guy too. He'll go and do those things. And I think that's one thing that maybe fantasy managers don't realize, but us as football guys, coach, we understand that, if you're not going to be that, it's the same with wide receivers. Like if you can't play special teams, like it's going to be hard for you to make the roster unless you're, pushing really hard for a starting spot. or you're at least the solidified backup directly to the starter. And I think that's something that Jaleel does, and it'll be interesting to note. But let's go ahead and shift over to the next team, which is the 49ers, who were